Matthew chapter 12. About that time, Yeshua was walking through the grain fields on the Sabbath. His disciples were hungry and began picking heads of grain to eat. When the Pharisees saw them, they told him, "Look, your disciples are doing something that the Torah forbids to be done on the Sabbath." But he replied, "Haven't you read what David did when he and those who were with him were hungry? How he went into Eloh's tabernacle and ate bread from Yehovah's table that was forbidden by the Torah for him and for those who were with him to eat? It was solely for the priests. Or haven't you read in the Torah that the priests in the temple lawfully tread on the Sabbath and are innocent? But I tell you that someone greater than the temple is here. If you had known what this means, 'I want mercy, not burnt offerings,' you wouldn't have condemned the innocent. The human Son is master of the Sabbath." Yeshua moved from there and went into their synagogue. A man with a withered hand was there. They asked him, "Is it against the Torah to heal someone on the Sabbath?" Brackets. They wanted to make a legal accusation against him. He replied, "Which of you, if you had a sheep that fell into a pit on the Sabbath day, wouldn't grab it and lift it out? A human being is far more precious than a sheep. So is it against the Torah to do good on the Sabbath?" Then he said to the man, "Reach out your hand." And he reached out his hand, and it was restored, just like the other. The Pharisees left and conspired against him as to how they could destroy him. Yeshua was aware of this, so he left the area. Large crowds followed him, and he healed them all. He warned them not to make his presence known, fulfilling what was spoken by the prophet Isaiah, who said, "This is my servant, whom I have chosen, my dearly loved one, who my consciousness, bracket, psyche, Greek, zuke, delights in. I'll put my spirit on him, and he'll announce judgment day to every ethnicity," brackets, Greek, ethnos. He won't fight or shout. No one will even hear his voice in the streets. He won't break a crushed reed. He won't even put out a flickering wick until he brings judgment to victory. All nations will trust in his name. Then they brought a demon-possessed man who was mute and blind to him. He healed him so that the man could speak and see. Everyone in the crowd was amazed and asked, "Isn't this the son of David?" But when the Pharisees heard about it, they said, "This man can't cast out demons without the help of Beelzebub, the prince of demons." Yeshua knew their thoughts and told them, "Every kingdom that is divided into fractions will be laid waste. In any house or city, indissension won't stand." So, if Satan banishes Satan, and he is divided into fractions, then how can his kingdom continue to stand? If I cast out demons with the help of Beelzebub, then who helps your young men cast them out? So they will be your judges. But if I cast out demons by the Spirit of Yehovah, then the royal power of the kingdom of Yehovah has come to you. How can someone enter a strong man's house and plunder his goods without first tying up the strong man? Then he can plunder his house. Anyone who isn't with me is against me. Anyone who doesn't gather with me is scattering. This is why I can say that any sin and blasphemy, brackets Greek, blasphema, of humanity will be removed, except for the blasphemy against the Spirit. People can't have that removed. Whoever says anything against the human Son will have that removed, but whoever says anything against the Kaddish Spirit can't have that removed, either in this world or in the coming world. Either produce a good tree with good fruit, or produce a poor quality tree with poor quality fruit, because a tree becomes known by its fruit. Offspring of vipers, how can you evil people say anything good? You say whatever your mind is filled with. A good person brings good things out of his cache, and a bad person brings bad things from his cache. I tell you, on Judgment Day, people will be accountable for every careless word that they have spoken. You will be justified by your words, or you will be condemned by your words. Then some of the Torah teachers and Pharisees said to him, Master, we want to see a miraculous sign from you. But he replied, A wicked and unfaithful group of men demand a sign, but the only sign they will be given is the sign of the prophet Jonah. Just as Jonah was in the belly of the great fish for 3 days and 3 nights, in the same manner the human Son will be in the inner part of the earth for 3 days and 3 nights. The people of Nineveh will stand up on Judgment Day with this group of people and will condemn them, because they amended their ways at the heralding of Jonah. And now someone greater than Jonah is here. The Queen of the South will be aroused from her sleep on Judgment Day with these people and condemn them, because she came from a remote part of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon, and now someone superior to Solomon is here. When an unclean spirit leaves someone, it wanders through dry places looking for comfort, but doesn't find it. Then it says, I'll return to the house I left. So it returns and finds it vacated, swept clean, and set in order. Then it goes and brings with it 7 other spirits worse than itself. They enter and occupy him, and the final state of that person is worse than it was before. So it will be for this wicked group of people. As he was busy speaking to the crowds, his mother and his brothers came and stood outside wanting to talk to him. Someone told him, Your mother and your brothers are standing outside wanting to talk to you. He replied to the man who told him, Who is my mother, and who are my brothers? He reached out his hands toward his disciples and said, Look, these are my mother and my brothers. Anyone who does the will of my heavenly Father is my brother, my sister, and my mother.